Good evening, everyone. Tuning in to the Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners YouTube channel. Come in and do a live Q&A. I was on the freight broker side for about 10 minutes to do a Q&A. Wasn't any questions, so that's fine. Now on the dispatcher side, we canceled Saturday's dispatcher training. We had some weather issues. We lost power a little bit because of the remnants of the hurricane / tropical storm Ian. So we wanted to come in and kind of make up a little bit for it to answer any questions that you guys may have. So here I am to answer a few questions for you guys. Live training. Hopefully everyone's good. Good evening, Hannah. Just some Q&A real quick before we get on with our next week. Okay. So also too, October, as of yesterday, we're having a 20%, I think it is 20% off special for training, 20% off of our regular price for dispatcher training. So there we go. 14 people in. Hit the thumbs up, guys, for me, please, to like. Good evening, everyone. Give you guys time to come in while I answer some questions here. Leona Huff, Erica Clayton, Heather Gaines, Penny Anderson, Hannah Altman. All right. Any questions? This is the Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners. Yes, the special code for the discounted training is trick or treat. So promo code to get promo code for 20% off is trick or treat. Okay. So Tony Gregg, hey Tony, Peach State Logistics and Dispatch. Okay. Yeah, so 20% off. Hopefully you guys take advantage of that. You have till the whole month to decide. You have from October 1st to October 31st, from now to Halloween. So I'm going to do a trick or treat special 20% off. Give you guys time to take an opportunity, take advantage of that. So see what is going on there. And also too, we've put a disclaimer on the website too. So when you first go to the purchase page of the website, a disclaimer will pop right up in front of you. You can read that, fill it out, and then hit submit, and it'll take you right back to the same area. The purpose of the disclaimer is to better explain and make a little bit more clear what the program entails. When you enroll in the program under the regular price or under a discounted price, not the payment plan, but under a regular price or a discounted special, you get access to everything for the first 30 days. You get an email and password set up to access our back office portal. You get access to load boards. You get access to the live Zoom trainings every second and fourth week of each month. You get access to the self-paced module. You get access to the tools, the resources, all the form templates and document templates for the first 30 days. If you want to maintain and keep that access after 30 days from your initial enrollment date, then there is a monthly subscription. And that monthly subscription is no longer for a year. It could be for however long you decide to keep it. It could be month to month for perpetuity, however long. Next year, 2023, I'm probably going to structure it a little bit different because I've noticed some I don't want to say friction, but some pushback a little bit with the understanding of what signing up with it was for. So, but at any rate, any questions? Any basic dispatcher questions, understanding the process, the equipment types, anything that you feel you need to ask? There's 23 people here. 11 has clicked the thumbs up. If you have not clicked the thumbs up, please click the thumbs up, the like button. Question, is there any other gas app like Gas Buddy? We would have to, I would say Google that. Gas Buddy is okay, but I would Google. There should be others. I'm sure there's some. I'm sure Gas Buddy has some competitors, and I can if you send me Rahman your email, and I'll text mine. I can we can research that um, together. Okay. And someone said mud flap. So let me put my email in here too, so you can reach out to me there, because we want to provide the best service for you. All right. What happens when a carrier gets into an accident or bursts a tire when delivering while delivering load? So those are unforeseen circumstances. Those are called, right. If they get into an accident, one of the first things the carrier needs to do, if they are, it depends on if they're under a brokered load, right? Then they want to contact the broker. Primarily, they want to get a hold of the freight broker that they have gotten that load under, either through you, the dispatcher, or directly themselves as a carrier, because the broker needs to be aware of what's going on, because now there's going to be a delay in the delivery of that freight. And that broker needs to tell their customer, which is the shipper, of that process, so that the shipper can tell their customer, who is the receiver in which the freight was being delivered to, okay, of the delay, so that everyone can make provisions and plan accordingly, depending on how long, how severe the delay is, the accident, burst tire, things of that nature. So everyone needs to be made aware in that process. All the channels need to be communicated to. Okay. For a beginner dispatcher, is it better to work with a new carrier with a new MC, or carriers that have experience? I would say 50-50. But if you can get a new carrier who's willing to work with you as a new dispatcher, then you guys can grow together. You can go through those growing pains together and build your relationship through communication together. Most experienced carriers are going to be, and I'll be honest with you, reluctant to want to work with a new dispatcher, because they fear that you don't have the experience to keep them running. And that may or may not be the case. That's just the philosophy and the thought processes of the experienced carrier. They say, well, why would I want to work with a brand new dispatcher? You have no experience, you have no carriers, you've never booked a load, you've never moved freight. And those are fair statements from an experienced carrier to a new dispatcher. So it's probably a good idea to try to start with new carriers. But if you happen to know someone who's an experienced carrier and they know who you are, outside of dispatching, they're willing to give you a chance, and that'd be great, because maybe they can teach you something about the process. Okay. If a driver is leased on with another company, can I lease him on with another broker to find loads as well? No, you cannot. No, that's a conflict of interest. That's a breach, almost a breach of contract. They can't be leased on. So if the driver is leased on as a driver, an owner operator, but leased on under the authority of another company, can I lease him on with another broker? You're not, as a dispatcher, you're not leasing drivers on to a broker. You may be getting them set up with brokerages to book loads, to find loads, right? Now, if that company that the driver is leased on, who's running under their authority, if they allow that driver to book their own loads, then you can go to brokers and book loads using the MC of the company that driver was leased on under. Otherwise, that driver who's leased onto this company, they may have internal dispatchers and an internal system that they're using, and they don't allow the use of their MC with other brokerages and things like that. So you have to be careful with that. You might want to, the type of drivers and carriers that we have you guys go with are owner operators with their own authority. Okay. Do you have to have an MC number to use load boards? In most cases, yes, but I have a promotional one, and I'll put it in here. 123 Load Board, through our affiliate with them, gives dispatchers the opportunity to purchase load boards without having an MC or DOT number. If you guys want to take advantage of that, type a 1 in this chat, and I'll go ahead and put that link there. So you get the first 30 days for free as a trial, 30 days. After 30 days, you decide which of the 3 subscriptions you want, the $35 a month, the $45 a month, or the $55 a month, which is the premium one, which is the one I highly recommend. Okay, so let me grab that and send that over to you guys through here, affiliates and partners, and grab the link for the 123 Load Board promo. Okay. Copy that. All right, so I'm going to paste that here. And if you take advantage of that, it'll say, if you see in the link there, it'll say www.get123loadboard.com/ELLLC. The promo for that, to take advantage of that 30 days for free and then get the subscription, is here. Okay. This load board sign up allows you to get a subscription to a load board without having an MC number. Okay. So now you can take advantage of that. As a starting dispatcher, what is a fair rate to charge? So you can either charge a percentage. This is for Monica Shayara. A percentage or a flat fee per week. A percentage per each load that you book. If you're going to charge a percentage, I usually say between 5 to 10%. Or if you're going to do the per week flat rate, I usually say between $250 to $500 a week, depending on the volume of loads you're moving. Okay, so, but those are the numbers. Percentage 5 to 10, flat rate $250 to $500 per week. Percentage 5 to 10% per load, every load that you book, not for the week, but per load. Okay. Hello, Charles. With the freight dispatch training, do you help find carriers that work with new dispatchers, and are you able to reach out to help with the paperwork process? So not only do we do that, but we also train you on how to do it yourself. Okay, via examples. Like we just recently last week came off of a dispatcher carrier challenge where I issued a $500 challenge to carriers to dispatchers who can help a carrier, a live carrier who also is a student, find loads for that carrier. And his goal was to make between 11 and 12,000 for the week. Two dispatchers together, well, not together, but on each load, they came $11,950. So they was in that range. And one dispatcher did 65% of that. The other dispatcher did the other 35. So I gave the 65% of the dispatcher who found 65% of that 11 to 12,000 range. I gave them 65% of the 500 for the challenge, for meeting the challenge, and then 35% of the 500. The rest went to the other dispatcher. So it was a teaching and a learning process, and they were compensated also for doing so. So the storm has passed. Yes. Let's see. Is there a network of brokers out there in the event a dispatcher works independently, reach out and develop a relationship for dedicated lanes? Yes. Solomon, you will build over time as you book loads for your carriers, your truck drivers, owner operators. You will build a network of brokers because you're working with the same brokers over time. That's how you establish your network, and then dedicated lanes will come into play when your drivers that you're dispatching for shows and proves to the brokers that they are capable of doing the work consistently, effectively, no accidents, pick up on time, deliver on time, transport the goods safely, and all of the above. Those are the drivers, if I was a broker, that I would be willing to work with. Okay. 7 does seem fair for newbies. Is it a good idea for me to set my drivers up with brokers in advance so that they can reach out to me when they have loads? That is a good idea if it's possible. Yes, most brokers. Most you can do that with new brokers because since they're new brokers, they're looking to build their carrier base, so they'll be more willing to set up your drivers with their brokerage, and then when they get the loads, they'll just reach out to their network of drivers to try to move that freight. So yes, that is a possibility, Leonora. So, and let's see. I just came on to your live. Do you train Do you train to become a dispatcher? Yes, this is Dispatcher 101 training for beginners. So yes, yes, Yoshia Israel. So we have it right now, October 1st through October 31st. We are having for our Dispatcher 101 training for beginners, ongoing training, 20% off. So, and you guys can take advantage of that with the promo code trick or treat. Okay, let me grab that for you as well. I think I put up here when I first began this live, but I will do it again. Trick or treat. Right. There is the promo and there's the link. I'm sorry. Promo code is trick or treat. So what I'm doing as an instructor, as a trainer, is providing you the least expensive way to enter into an industry that will give you the greatest, well, not the greatest, but a good way or potential to earn a living as an independent business owner, right? Dispatching is in what's called the transportation and logistics industry, right? It's one of the easiest entry points to come into as far as setting up your business and becoming an entrepreneur and things of that nature. That's what I mean. So yeah. Hey, LaDonna, how are you? So my job as an instructor is to convey and transpose all the knowledge that I've gained over the years towards you guys in a way that you can take that information and build upon that in the form of a business, right? In the form of a way to become independent, to set up financial independence, to set up generational wealth. You take the knowledge and the information, establish the foundation in this industry, and then you can branch. You'll come up on a fork in a particular road, and you can decide, okay, I'm in transportation as a dispatcher, but maybe I want to start a trucking company, or maybe I want to become a freight broker, or maybe I want to do something else, warehousing and distribution, wherever you want to go. This is a good entry point, a good starting point to get you interested in this industry, an industry that is not going anywhere, right? So, Erica Creighton, how long would you say does it take to learn how to do dispatching well enough to hit the ground running? That is a great question. That's a great question, Erica, and it's a variable question because it varies and it depends on the individual. Every person has a different level of grasping and understanding the information and the application of that information at a certain point in their lives, right? I've had students grab it in 2 weeks. I have students grab it in 2 months. I have students, I'm sad to say, that haven't really grasped it yet, but they haven't given up and they're still trying. So it depends on the individual. What I would say though is learn the process of dispatching. Once you get the idea and the concept of the process, get the concept down first. Get your carrier, understand how to find a load on the load board, book the load with the broker, and invoice the carrier. Those are the steps. Those 4 steps in our platform are structured in what we call the modules, our modules: getting a carrier, finding a load or load boards, booking loads, and invoicing carriers. So once you learn that process, you can plug in different brokers and different carriers and start generating income. Okay. Is it possible to see a CS credit score 95 of a broker but have a problem for payment? Yes, it is possible. Anything's possible with that in that scenario. Just because the broker's credit score is 95 doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to pay. Okay, it's good that they have a credit score of 95. 97 is even better. But if you have a carrier that you're dispatching for and they have what's called a factoring company, then that kind of eases that pain of worrying about whether a broker is going to pay, because the factoring company steps in for their client, which is your carrier, which you are dispatching for, and takes over that process. Okay. Can you direct me to the video where you talked about the different types of carriers? Okay. Yes. Where's the place to keep up with today's freight logistics news? So the first question, can you direct me to the video where you talked about the different types of carriers? So carriers meaning like equipment type carriers, like the dry-vans, flatbeds, and reefers. If you are a member of this training, we have a training videos library which is grouped in months, right? And you can go in each month, and they're titled and dated in each of those months as well, and you should be able to find that. Um, where is a place to keep up with today's freight logistics news? Freight waves, which is sonar, transport topics, and I'll type them in here. Transport topics. This is for um, Monica. Transport topics, freight waves / sonar. These are different, and of course, the website on the main website, FMCSA, right, which is the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. You go up on there, and bam, right. But transport topics, freight waves. Who else? They have OIDA, and even, dare I say, TIA, transportation intermediaries. So um, those are publications, some good, some bad, but they provide logistics data. Okay. Do I need to set up my LLC before I can dispatch? It is recommended that you do, because if you're dispatching, that means you are behaving as a business owner, a dispatching company. So you need to have the proper structure behind you, meaning licenses and entities set up, EINs, LLCs, and things like that, or whatever structure you decide, sole prop, S corp. So if you're going to behave as a business, then you need to be structured as one. So yes, I would recommend. Now, do people dispatch prior to getting an LLC? Of course they do. I often say, if you do that, whatever revenue you generate once you get your LLC, and as far as tax purposes and to avoid auditing, I would say roll that income into your taxes, for your tax, into your paperwork and stuff. So, can you include in the training things like mock calls to new carriers, as well as brokers elaborating different scenarios that may arise? Not only can we include it, but we do it. So, Solomon, we do it. We don't do it as often as we should or as we used to, but we do it. Mock calls as well as live calls. We have a segment. One of our students who is doing very well, Shantae, she has Air to Learn, and I forget the name of the other company that she does, but she specializes in cold calling, which is a form of getting a carrier, a technique that's used to get carriers. There are various techniques and ways to get carriers interested in you being their dispatcher, one of which is cold calling. Shantae has a platform that is pretty good in getting dispatchers to call carriers to get them set up with a dispatcher agreement, and then move on from there, start booking loads. So, all right. Circling back, the main reason on here is live Q&A. And then the 20% month of October, October 1st. Today's the 2nd of October, but October 1st through the 31st, 20% off for the month of October. Promo code Trick or Treat. Do you share which type of tax person we should use for our LLC? And not only do I share it, but I give my tax person's information, my personal accountant, my personal bookkeeper, so that you guys can call him and get questions answered as well. Where can I go to Shantae's platform? Go to Facebook and look up do a search for her name of her platform. It's called Air to Learn. And I'm going to type that in here. Air to Learn. And it will pop up there, and you would have to submit a request to join. And I'm not sure what kind of qualifications that she uses to vet people out before she allows them to join. But that's the starting point right there. Air to Learn. So, okay. All right. Any other questions? And if you haven't clicked the thumbs up, I got 37 people on here and 21 thumbs up. If you haven't clicked the thumbs up, please do so. Just making sure I'm going through all the questions. I want to do a live. I always want to come in and do lives every so often, especially during the off Zoom training weeks for the members who are enrolled in our Dispatcher 101 training for beginners. Those enrolled members, they get live Zoom trainings every second and fourth week of each month live. You guys are YouTube subscribers, and you may or may not be members of the platform. Those of you who are not members of our Dispatcher 101 training, then you benefit from this here. You don't see our computers and our screen, and when we share it in Zoom, and you don't have access to those things because you're not enrolled as of yet. But at least I can, provide some time to answer some questions for you, maybe clear some things up, some misconceptions or whatever the case may be. Okay. So I'm here to answer those questions. Any more questions while I'm here? While you got me prior to my bedtime, I guess, huh? But so anything else? Yes, no, maybe. Any more questions about dispatching? Started the process. Do you have a payment plan? Of course we do. Yes, we do. So our payment structure for ongoing training for Dispatcher 101 is as follows. Our base price is $499 for 30 days. In those 30 days from your initial enrollment date, you get from day 1 of your enrollment to day 30, you get access, you get to set up an email and password to access our members portal. In our members portal, we give you access to about 6 load boards. We give you access to our self-paced modules. There's 4 of them. We give you access to all of our documents, templates, tools, and resources. We give you access to our training videos library, which contains hundreds, maybe a couple of hundred training videos in there. We give you access to our how-to video series, okay, for the first 30 days. Now, after the first 30 days of your initial enrollment, if you want to continue after 30 days, then there is a $29.99 month-to-month subscription payment for as long as you want each month. So let's say the first 30 days you say, okay, I need some more time. And we generate those invoices monthly. So they come to you automatically once you decide to do that. And when you decide to cancel, because there's no obligation, you can cancel anytime, you let us know, then we cancel that. Now we do have a policy too. If you decide to do the month to month after your first 30 days and you miss 2 consecutive ones, then we suspend access until we have a conversation, say, okay, what's going on? Have you decided to stop, or is there something going on? So to avoid, any confusion. That's the first process. The second one is the payment plan, like Erica just asked. There is a 5-month, there's a $120 a month payment plan for 5 months. So $120 for 5 months. Now that's more than the $499, but because it's payment, that's why it's more. So that's going to equal 5 months at $120 a month. That's $600. In that 5 months, there is no monthly subscription. You just pay the month to month, $120 a month, $120 a month, $120 a month. That is set up on your side. We do not control anyone's money. You set that up through PayPal and an automatic debiting process where you set up a debiting coming off of your credit or debit card through PayPal where they pull the money out of your account. So you have to make sure that you have that $120 funds available, because if you don't, when you miss the next payment, then we automatically suspend access, because we assume that since you took advantage of the month-to-month payment, that you would also make sure that funds will be available in the account. Okay, but that's the month-to-month payment, $120 a month for 5 months. After the 5 months, then we will have a conversation. Okay, well, what do you want to do? Right? Do you want to continue? So on and so forth. Right? That's another payment process. Okay. Then we have a 2-for-1 for $7.99. 2 people can join for that price, $7.99. Is one person was $4.99, 2 people $7.99. So that's $500. That's a $300 savings there. And now we just introduced the 20% off of the $4.99 one-time payment, 20% off of that for the month of October 1st through the 31st. Okay, 20% off of that. It's not 20% off of the month to month, or it is 20% off of the one-time as well as the 2-for-1. Okay, but not the payment plan, right? Good evening, Charles. I'm having a hard time deciding in doing dispatching or wholesaling. Why? Wholesale real estate is when you get a property under some kind of agreement, and then you assign that property to a buyer, right? You sell it, and then you make a commission off of that. Dispatching is a little bit different. So I'm not sure, G Brown, um, where's the difficulty at in deciding. I'm assuming you want to decide which industry you want to be in. Do you want to be in real estate or dispatching? If you have time, perhaps you can consider doing both. Multiple streams of income is how millionaires are made. So, but it may be a time issue with you. Maybe you may be working a job. I don't know the circumstances or the situation that you're in, G Brown, but continue to do your research and see what the analytics says about each industry that you're considering right now, dispatching and wholesaling. What's the market in wholesaling as compared? What's the market, analytics in dispatching? And then maybe perhaps I can help you decide. Okay. All right. We've been here 30 minutes. That's a good time. Any final questions before we get off? And let me put my email. exoduslogisticsllc at yahoo.com, and my phone number, right? My phone number in here. Transparency is good for an instructor. If you have an instructor you got to get a hold of. So is it possible for a dispatcher to dispatch 10 trucks? Of course it is, especially if you have a lot of people say the max is 5. The max is not 5. 5 is a comfortable number to dispatch for. So 5 is a comfortable number. Okay. So, but 10, you can, let's say you got a trucking company that you dispatching for, and they have 10 trucks, 10 assets. There you go. So you're dispatching for one company, but they just so happen to have 10 trucks. You may not be dispatching 10 trucks all at one time, because maybe all 10 trucks are not going out at one time. Maybe you got 7 going out this week, 3 coming back this week, or whatever, right? But they have 10 assets in that carrier, in that trucking company. Now, if you had 10 individual owner operators, that would be a little bit more of a challenge, because they're not in one network company, right? They're each their own entity. Now, if you're in that situation, 10 different trucks or 10 different owner operators, if it were me, I would try to finesse that in a sense like, okay, I'll try to have them on the same equipment types, either a dry van, flatbed, or reefer, 10 on each of those, because I want to put them under the same brokers and run them in the same lanes to make my job easy, as opposed to dispersing like maybe 3 reefers, 4 flatbeds, and 3 dry vans, and they're under various brokers going in various directions. Okay. Even though that's good, that's more of a challenge than it would be than it would if it was 10 flatbeds, 10 dry vans, or 10 reefers, all the same equipment types, running under a few brokers, the same brokers, moving in the same lanes in those brokers. You see, so you have to think of it along those lines too. So working smarter, and not harder. So just consider it like that. So pick yourself a niche or a niche, however you pronounce that word, and decide, whether it's going to be dry vans, depending on where you live or what region of the country you want to run in. Like the Midwest region of the country is good for all 3 equipment types: dry van, flatbeds, and reefers. The Midwestern states, the Midwest zone, as you call them, Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, that Midwest area. You can have inbound and outbound freight for dry van, flatbed, and reefers all day. Number one, and then send them down to, let's say, the southeastern states: Virginia, North and South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, or over to the southwestern state like Texas, Louisiana, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, those states. So those three zones or those three regions of the country are pretty good in that order: Midwest, Southeast, and Southwest, in that order, to run those three major equipment types into and out of drive-in, flatbed, and reefer. Okay. And then decide which one you want to do and go from there. G Brown, thank you for your answering my question. I work 10 hours a day, Monday through Saturday, so I don't have much downtime. Okay. So then you would have to see which space, which business you want to run, a wholesale real estate or a dispatching, that can factor in your work schedule, right? Because your work schedule is what you're doing now to cover your expenses, your bills, right? So you want to get to a point where you're working, you're covering your bills, but then you're building one of those different industries, the dispatching or the wholesaling, to the point where the income from that matches or exceeds the work schedule, to a point where you can leave the work schedule now and do this full time. That's how you transition from working from an employee to an owner or an entrepreneur or an employer. Even if you're hiring people, you build gradually on that. Okay. And that's over time. Some it comes for people some quicker for some people than it does for others. Okay. But that's the process. You never want to just cold turkey unless you got some income saved up to cover your expenses for a good 3 to 6 months, where you can afford to take a leave of absence or even leave the company that you're working with to pursue your goal of being a business owner, an entrepreneur. Then I wouldn't recommend just leaving a company cold turkey unless you have because you got to figure out what your expenses are, right? Your rent or mortgage and all your other bills, add that up, see what that is monthly, multiply that by 3 or 6, depending on how long you think you need before you can do this full time. And then let's say that's $12,000. If you got $12,000 laying around, you figure 12, 6. So let's say your expenses is $2,000 a month times 6 months, that's 12,000. Just hypothetically, right? It could be more, it could be less. Depending on if you're renting or if you have a home that you have a mortgage for, right? So, and then go from there. So that's how you kind of, systematically plan it out, but good luck to you, G Brown. All right. We're good, everyone. As you can see, power is restored here. LaDonna was checking on me, which is good. Thank you, LaDonna. It's my angel. Appreciate her. And everything's good. There was some few down trees, few cars here and there, because we got the basically a lot of rain and windstorms, such that the power went out a little bit. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to effectively do a live Zoom for Friday's freight broker class and Saturday's dispatch class. So I figured I'd come in and do some live once I got power restored and go from there. You're welcome, Erica. And for those of you who are subscribers on here, thank you for subscribing. If you are considering enrolling in because I'm assuming you're here for a reason, right? The Dispatch Training for Beginners YouTube channel. And again, I'm going to provide as much content as I can. It'll be limited because I have enrolled students in our training. I don't want to disrespect them by giving you guys the same content that I give them. They're paying students, right? So, if you consider enrolling, I do offer specials and deals. We even have referral programs too. If you refer someone who enrolls, you have to fill out the referral form prior to them enrolling to get credit. I knew John Doe who enrolled a year ago. Can I get a referral for that? Well, you never submitted a referral form. So we're still a business, so we have to act as such, right? So to avoid any unethical situations. So, okay. But we do referrals. We offer specials, discounts, and every now and then we'll let someone in for free, just because depending on the situation and how we read that person, male or female, seeing what they're going through. So yeah. Did you discuss virtual addresses? I did not. Virtual address. You can go through Regis. I think Regis is a good company to go through to look up virtual addresses. Because I'm assuming you mean a virtual address because you want your physical address and your mailing or your physical address shielded from the people you're doing business with, right? So I'm assuming that's why you want a virtual address. And your virtual address can actually be a brick and mortar, an online presence or a brick and mortar, and you can use that to have your mail come there and use it as a mailing address. So that'll be what's called customer facing, and your real address will be shielded behind that, kind of like a veil, if you will. So, but look at Regis, look at different virtual addresses, platforms that offer that service, and what's all included with that. So yeah, Solomon just said anytime mailbox. So you have to first define what are you looking for in a particular service, no matter what that service is. So customer facing means what the customer sees, the address that the customer sees, or in your case as a dispatcher, your customers are going to be the carriers or the brokers, right? You're dealing with brokers and you're dealing with truck drivers when you're booking loads. So if anyone needs to see where you live at or your information when you're disclosing that, then yeah. Oh yeah, iPostal is another one too. iPostal, Regis, and then now Anytime Mailbox. I haven't heard of that. I need to write that one down though. Anytime I hear something new, I always write it down and um, research it. So always good because I'm constantly trying to learn my as well. Yeah, thank you, Shelly. So, but yeah, virtual addresses are always a good idea, and over time you build to that point, right? You want to build to that and get to that. But when you first started out, you have to keep in mind your overhead and the budget you have to work with as a new entrepreneur. What are your expenses, and what's your overhead? What are you bringing in? Because when you first start, you're not going to be bringing anything in until you get a carrier, and even once you get a carrier, you're not going to bring anything in until you start booking loads and invoicing that carrier for your service. So, okay. So yes, she said I was paying $29.99 a month. They had something for $9.99, so I switched. Yeah, so if you get the same service for a cheaper price, as an entrepreneur, that's a no brainer. You want to just yeah. I have a box at a UPS store. I don't know about the UPS store. It has a street address. You can send and receive mailed and packages. Ah, okay. But when someone looks you up and they see they look you up, they do a Google Maps or look your address up, and they see a UPS store, they're not going to give much credence or weight to your business because they see you got a virtual address at this location as opposed to like an official commercial looking building, brick and mortar. So, uh, do you submit virtual or UPS store address to get LLC? Um, you probably have a better chance doing it with the virtual than the UPS, but I'm not exactly sure. Okay, I don't want to give you the wrong information, but if I was a betting man, I would say the virtual. So okay, but those who have submitted their LLCs using either a UPS or virtual store, they can speak more to this topic there and give you some insight as well. So, all right, very good questions though. Very good questions. So let me close here before we get off. Ask some more questions, a few dispatch questions, if you will. My main point was coming on here was to ask those types of questions and to see about uh, getting um, or not getting, but announcing the 20% sale for the month for Halloween, the trick or treat promo code, and then also putting the those asked about load boards. Um, Tiffany says she used UPS virtual mailbox for her LLC, so apparently it does work, right? So here's the link again for 123 load board. Okay, for the getting a load board first 30 days for free, Doesn't require an MC. You purchase your own subscription after the first 30 days of free access, $35 a month, $45 a month, or $55 a month. The premium one, which is what I recommend, is the $55 a month subscription. Promo code is 48bet, right? So I'll put that there again. So 123 low board promo. You can get a low board because most low boards you have to have an MC number, and you usually get that from your carrier or a broker if you are a broker. But if you are a dispatcher, you're going to get it from your carrier. One of your carriers that you're dispatching for offer to pay for it for use of their MC number. But with this 123 low board, you do not need that. You just sign up for through the link. Through this link, you're going to get, instead of 10 days free trial, you're going to get 30 days free trial. And then after the 30 days, they want you decide which subscription version you want, $35, $45, or $55 a month, without an MC, no MC or DOT. Okay, it's not required, which is a game changer, right? No MC, DOT required, and now you can start utilizing the services of 123 low board. Okay. And in addition to that, of course, we're having our promo for the $4.99 special, 20% off for dispatcher one-on-one training for beginners, ongoing training, and then promo code trick or treat. Okay. So before I want to get that out before we go and share that with you guys. Trick, if I can spell this correctly. All right. Any final closing thoughts? We've been up here 47. Been up here longer than the freight broker side. We did about 10 minutes there because no one really had any questions. I assume it was kind of late, people with their families and things like that, which is understandable. Sunday, I try to get it in here at an hour that everyone is probably, available. So, but with that, I will bid you guys a fun good night and looking forward. So we have 27,000 YouTube subscribers on this channel. Can you imagine if you guys, 20% of you guys signed up for the training? Hey, Sadan. Sadan is my person who does the content and provides, helps with the Exodus Logistics Learning Center, dispatcher and freight broker training. And it is the lowest price of the season. So yeah, I mean, we, even without the special, the discount, we were still the lowest price of training, whether it's dispatching or freight broker training. I can't imagine charging someone $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to dispatch, or $5,000, $10,000 to teach them how to be a freight broker. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. If I'm paying someone that, they better find me a carrier. They better book me about the first 5 loads, literally hold my hand, be in the office with me and everything, right? I mean, if I'm going to invest all that money into that training, this is what I need to get in return. I need to get a decent return on my investment if I'm going to give you that much money, right? But I try to give you that now at the price that we offer, right? The blue magic, if you will, of trainings. So twice the content, half the price, just like American Gangster, Blue Magic, twice the content, half the price. So, but thank you guys again for coming in here. Looking forward to some more of the 27 subscribers in the Dispatcher one-on-one training for beginners channel to consider enrolling into our platform, and we'll go from there. All right. I will check the email, Sadan. The Exodus email. I saw the email from you the other day, but yeah. All right, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your time with your families. For all the students who are on here, I will see you next Sunday starting, because this is an off week for our trainings, our live trainings, but I can still be gotten a hold of via phone, email, and text. So, all right. Thank you.